audience. In any case, let's start. I should start by saying my name is Roger Troy Wilson, and with me I have my family today. My dear wife, Anita, stand up, honey, please. And my dear mother, Ruth Wilson. And both of these ladies joined me on this journey. I should tell you a story. First of all, I should say to you that I'm not taking any profit on the sale of this book. All of the profits are going back to helping other people. And the reason for that is I truly believe in the Bible and the Lord and in Jesus Christ, my Savior. And I want to tell you that God saved my life with this. And because of that, I'm passing this on so that God can bless other people in the same way that He blessed me. Now, that said, I should tell you that these two ladies joined me in this journey, and my dear wife watched me lose weight for a year and a half. And I had lost about 195 pounds in a year and a half, and she thought that I had cancer. She did not believe that the way I was eating was causing my weight loss. She actually thought that I had cancer, so she forced me to go to the doctor. And, well, forced me, I mean, she talked me into it. And in any case, I went to the doctor, and I came home. I had no idea that this was in her mind. I came home from the doctor, and I told her, the doctor said, whatever you're doing, Roger, everybody should do it. And so when I said that to her, she started crying. I mean, crocodile tears rolling down her face. And I said, what's the matter? And she said, well, honey, I didn't want to tell you this, but I thought you had cancer, and that's why I had you go to the doctor. I was hoping you didn't have cancer, but I was so happy with your weight loss, I just was putting it in the back of my mind and trying to put it out of my mind. But when you lost this weight, that's why I wanted to go to the doctor, and I'm so relieved, and you look so good, and I'm just so grateful. And I said, well, that's great, honey. And she said, well, you know what, though? You know, I don't understand this, because if I eat the way you eat, or if I ate the way you eat, I would gain weight. Now, my wife, my actual wife, said that to me, okay? If I ate the way you eat, I would gain weight. I said, well, why don't you just try it? Anyway, I had to talk her into that, and she tried it. She wanted to lose 8 pounds. She lost 23. My mom, sitting up here at 85 years of age, went on the program, and without exercise of any kind. Her exercise is walking to the driveway every morning to pick up the Naples Daily News, the Bonita Daily News. But my mom lost 51 pounds without exercise of any kind. And so with that, I just want to say that to begin with, this story starts out a long time ago. I won't bore you with when I was a child, but I will say to you that I was 30 years morbidly obese. I weighed 425 pounds approximately, probably a little bit more than that. I had a 5', 60" to 62" waist. And I tried every diet known to mankind. Imagine being morbidly obese for 30 years. I mean, to the point where I sat on the edge of my bed with a 5' waist, weighing 425, 435 pounds, somewhere in there. Closed my bedroom door and started crying, tears rolling down my face. This is a true story. And I prayed to God that I would die and go to heaven. I had high blood pressure. I had acid reflux so bad that when I would swallow food, it killed me. It was excruciating pain, and yet I had to have the food because I was addicted to food. I had sleep apnea so bad that my wife thought I had died several times. And with that, and having tried every diet known to man, including acupuncture, I'll tell you a story about there's our son-in-law Michael right there taking photos. But our son-in-law's mom and I, our daughter's mother-in-law and I, went to an acupuncture specialist for her to quit smoking and for me to lose weight. Well, anyway, we were sitting there and with all these needles sticking out of our head and our ears and so forth, and we got done with that, and we had these little driplets of blood running down and so forth. And we got out in the car, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she said, how do you feel? And I said, I feel like Dunkin' Donuts. And she pulled out a cigarette, and so we went to Dunkin' Donuts. Anyway, that was the extent of the acupuncture. And then my dear wife one time went down to downtown Minneapolis where we lived, and she found this doctor down there that was, giving people shots to lose weight. Well, she would stand outside the doctor's office and talk with the folks as they came out of the doctor's office and interview them and ask them how it was working for them. And all these folks were saying, well, it's great, it's absolutely wonderful, it's terrific. Make a long story short, I went in there to get a shot, and out walks this guy that weighs 350 pounds. So, I mean, you know, apparently the shots didn't work for him, and they didn't work for me. That was the doctor. I didn't say that. Oh, that was the doctor. I'm sorry. Outwalked the doctor who weighed 350 pounds. Anyway, in any case, having tried all these diets, imagine being morbidly obese for 30 years, trying a new diet every single Monday for 30 years. Imagine trying not only every single Monday, but sometimes 2 and 3 times in a week, trying to lose weight. It got so bad that I actually bribed the members of my family to go get food for me, so that I could, you know, pig out on what I wanted, and so I would give them extra money to go get the food, and I'd tell them what I wanted, and they'd go get it, and they'd bring it home, and I'd say, keep the change. Well, sometimes they wouldn't bring me very much, you know. No, I'm just kidding. They brought me everything I wanted, but I'd eat the food, and then I would never, you know, never finish all of it because I couldn't get that much in my stomach. And then I would give the balance of it to my wife, and I'd say, honey, just throw the rest of this away because I'm starting my diet tomorrow. Well, she got to the point where it happened so many times that she didn't throw the food away. She just hid it from me. So the next time I wanted it, nobody would have to go to the store or go to the fast food place and get the food. In any case, that's the way it started out. After sitting on the edge of my bed and praying that I would die and go to heaven, I started awakening in the middle of nights with new ideas on how and what to eat in order to lose weight. Now, I didn't have a conversation with God Almighty, but I do believe the good Lord gave me those ideas in the middle of the night. And over a period of 15 years, I experimented with my own body and experimented with different foods and eating patterns and eating times to come up with what we have now as Let's Do Lunch. I should also say to you that since this book has been out, I have not had one single negative report from one single human being that has told me that they read the book, that they tried the diet, and they didn't like it, nor have they reported that they didn't lose weight. Now, that's quite a remarkable statement. I don't know of any other diet in the world that can make that statement, but that is my statement, and I stand by that, and that is the truth. Also, if you go to letsdolunch.com and click on the bulletin boards at the left-hand column, you can go in there and talk with other Let's Do Lunch dieters. There are several hundred of them on there now. They all love the program. We're all participating. There are 5 boards in there. There's a general discussion board. There is a recipe board for new recipes. There's a testimonials board. There's a question and answer board. And I participate on those boards all the time, very quickly, and get back to people right away. And then also there's a tips board. So we have that as support for all of us. We all love the Lord, and at least I hope we do. And so we're all in this together. Now, let's start talking about what the diet is about. First of all, what I discovered is that there are carbohydrates that you can eat until full and lose weight. For example, all the different beans, pinto beans, northern beans, navy beans, butter beans, black beans, refried beans, you name it, all of the beans are non-fattening, and so therefore we developed recipes with those carbs in them that you can eat until full and lose weight. Not only are beans non-fattening, but this will blow your mind, corn is non-fattening. Now, most people can't believe that, but corn is non-fattening. Therefore, corn on the cob is non-fattening. Orville Redenbacher's Smart Pop, 94% fat-free. Butter popcorn, I believe, is totally non-fattening. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Peas are non-fattening. Salads are non-fattening. Now, those are all carbohydrates. Now, here's the other benefit of this. Not only can you eat these carbohydrates until full and lose weight, but when you eat those starchy, non-fattening carbohydrates, which are high nutritional density carbohydrates, it eliminates the cravings for the fattening carbohydrates. So that's what's unique about Let's Do Lunch, is you not only eat until full, you not only eat in all the food groups, but it totally eliminates your cravings for the foods that are fattening. Along that line, fruits are also carbohydrates. And fruits are totally non-fattening. I'm not talking about just certain fruits. I'm talking about the sweetest fruits. I'm talking about cherries, grapes, frozen grapes, bananas, watermelon, pineapple, fruit smoothies, which are like a fruit milkshake. You can literally eat all the fruits you want. I don't care how many calories are involved. And there's 10 to 12 calories in 100 calories in 10 to 12 grapes and 8 to 10 cherries. And you can eat them, I don't care how many you eat, you can eat them until you're full and lose weight. And when you do that, it eliminates the cravings for the desserts, candy, and sweet snacks. Now, in fact, I tell people, of course, you should see your doctor before starting any diet. You should see your doctor before starting less too much. But that said, what I tell people is satiate yourself with fruits during the first couple of weeks of the program. Eat as many fruits as you can possibly put in your body. The reason for that is so that your body becomes addicted to the fruits instead of the regular sugar foods. And when your body becomes addicted to the fruits, then you no longer will crave the sugar foods. And in fact, what happens, and what happened to me is, today as I stand here, I don't eat that many fruits. I only eat fruits when I feel the urge to eat something sweet. And instead of craving sugar foods, when I do want to eat something sweet, I crave fruits, which was an amazing finding, an amazing thing that I found through this experimentation. All right, getting back to the other carbohydrates. Now we've got, I started to tell you why I think the popcorn, the Orville Redenbacher butter popcorn is non-fattening. I also discovered that there are certain fats that are totally non-fattening. The oils from fruits and vegetables and the oils from fish are non-fattening. So you can have all the salmon that you want, you can have all the wonderful trout that you want. In Orville Redenbacher's 94% fat-free butter popcorn, it has no butter in it. That's another thing I tell people. It's not calories in and calories out. It's ingredients in and ingredients out. In Orville's butter popcorn, there is no butter. What they have in there is soybean oil. And I've just said that the oils from fruits and vegetables and fish are non-fattening. So that soybean oil, which tastes like butter in the popcorn, is actually non-fattening. And if you take Pam olive oil spray and spray that on that butter popcorn, I want to tell you, you like died and went to heaven. It's so delicious. My mom, in losing 51 pounds, actually ate 2 huge bags of Orville Redenbacher's butter popcorn every day, and I mean sprayed olive oil all over it, and lost that 51 pounds doing so. Also take that Pam olive oil spray and spray it on your corn on the cob. Absolutely wonderful. Better tasting than butter ever thought of. So, along with that, now we have the name Let's Do Lunch. And I should tell you how that happened, how that came into being. When we got the contract with the publishing house, which is Thomas Nelson, one of the largest publishing houses in the world, been in business since 1798, we didn't have a name for the book. And I told my wife, I said, I know if I go into the Bible that and find the place where Jesus' disciples were feeding the 5,000 people, I just have a feeling that the name of the book will come to me. So I'm lying in bed and I'm thumbing through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and I got to John 6, verse 8, and where Jesus took the little boy's quote-unquote lunch to give to the disciples, for the disciples to feed the people. And at that moment in time, I promise you this happened just like I'm telling you, at that exact moment in time, the phone rings. It's my dear mom saying, honey, I've got the name of the book. And I said, what is it? She said, Let's Do Lunch. Can you believe that? I mean, it's incredible. It was a miracle. Well, it's a great name. I love the name. The publisher loved the name. And let's talk about why it has more significance than even that. Let's Do Lunch involves eating extra protein at lunchtime. Because in our society, what do? We try to eat light all day, and then we try to eat light until dinner time, and then we pig out and we go to bed with all that fattening food in our bodies, so we can just lay there with with our bodies dormant, and it turns to fat in our bodies. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. And the other problem we have is that by trying to eat light all day, by the middle of the afternoon, you're just so famished for a snack you go for that afternoon fattening snack, and then when you do that, you just say, well, I've blown it, at least for today, so what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, so the rest of the day you pig out and eat whatever you want, and the next day you start all over again and go through the same process. Well, by eating extra protein at lunchtime, and whether that be steaks, or let's do lunch burgers, by the way, which you'll absolutely adore. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let's do lunch burgers, chicken, turkey, fish, what have you, by eating that extra protein. And I'm not talking about 3.5 ounces of something. First of all, let me set something straight with you. You don't eat on this program by portioning or measuring. There's no counting carbs, there's no counting calories, there's no counting fat grams, there's no converting fat grams to calories, there's no portioning, there's no measuring, there's no weighing, there are no meetings, there's no pills, there's no chemicals, there's nothing. You just eat until you're full at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you lose the weight. Now, having said that, you eat whatever protein you want. When I eat fish, I'll probably eat 4 big fish fillets for lunch. Still do. Okay? And I have them with tartar sauce. And by the way, mayonnaise, I use the low-fat mayonnaise, but what are the first 2 ingredients? I said ingredients in, ingredients out. What are the first 2 ingredients in mayonnaise? Water and soybean oil. In fact, most of your condiments are okay because the amount of sugar you get in them is not that much, and yet most of those condiments have a lot of soybean oil in them, and soybean oil, again, I said, I believe it's not fat. Okay, now where was I? Anita, what was I talking about? Oh, lunchtime, okay. So you get the idea. By having that extra protein in your body, comes the middle of the afternoon, you don't want a snack. In fact, by the time dinner rolls around, you still have that protein in your body, and you eat lighter at nighttime, whether you want to or not, you will. And you'll eat lighter at night, you'll go to bed, have a better night's sleep, and you have less food in your stomach to turn to fat while you're sleeping. Is this question an answer for you? Oh, thank you very much. That's a good point. We also, this program not only involves, you know, in other words, there are no strict rules and regulations as to how to eat. That's what my wife was just bringing up. If you have a job, or if you have days where you cannot eat the heavy protein at lunchtime, it's okay to switch lunch to dinner and dinner to lunch. So what you do in those days is you have your protein at night, and at lunch you don't have protein. Now, one of the things that I say with Let's Do Lunch, you should only have protein, heavy protein. I'm not talking about beans and things like that. I'm talking about the steaks and the burgers and the chicken, turkey, fish. You should only have that kind of a meal once a day. Now, that said, again, there's no strict regulation for that, because I know people that are having protein with lunch and dinner and still losing weight. You just don't lose it as fast. Okay? If you want to maximize your weight loss, then you can do that. And if you don't care, if you just want to eat and lose weight, you can do that also. And when you go to the website and talk with those folks, you'll find lots of people that do it both ways. They're all losing weight, some faster than others, but the point is they're all losing weight, which is really cool. And they're ending up with their words saying they're healthier and happier. And I should have my wife come up here and talk. All right, that's very good. I was going to get to that. There is a 14-day meal plan in the book, so that people that like structure and regimentation can go in there and find out what to eat for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner and for snacks. And I'll tell you what, if I ate all the food that's listed in that 14-day meal plan, I don't think I could put it in my body. You know, I'm too thin to do that. But now people that have been used to the way I used to eat, which was eating, I can't even tell you the amount of food that I put in my body, but you can imagine with a 60 or 62-inch waist how much food I put in my body every single day in order to maintain that weight. Now, oh, that's good. That's good. All right. I should also say that I lost 230 pounds and 24 inches around my waistline and 6 inches around my neck. I've had the weight off now, which is even more important, for 15 years. And so it's very nice to know that this is not a program just to lose weight. This is a program that will, I believe, will find you healthier, happier, you'll lose the weight, and more importantly, you will keep it off. There is no maintenance program. What happens is, when you first start out, you're going to eat the same amount of food as you did before. But what happens is the Let's Do Lunch foods don't turn into body fat. Therefore, you lose weight. Now, when you lose weight, your stomach shrinks. When your stomach shrinks, you can't eat as much as you did before. So what happens? You lose weight again, which means then what? That your stomach shrinks. And when your stomach shrinks, you can't eat as much as you did before, so what happens again? See, who's on first? What happens is you get to the point where you've lost all your weight, you're happy, you're healthy, you're eating well, and you've lost all your weight, and there is no reason for you to have a first stage, a second stage, a third stage. There is nothing like that. You just eat the foods that you enjoy when you want to eat them, and you lose the weight. And because you're eating in all the food groups, you never get sick of the food you're eating. Now, when I was losing, or when I couldn't lose weight, why couldn't I lose the weight? When you analyze all diets, nothing against anybody else's diet, because God bless them, if you can lose the weight on somebody else's diet, do it. I'm happy for you, I'm pleased for you, and that's terrific. But I couldn't do it for one or two reasons. Either I was hungry all the time on a diet, or I craved foods that were not allowed on the diet. With Let's Do Lunch, again, I'll repeat myself. You're never hungry because you eat until you're full, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it eliminates all of the cravings. Now, what else will I go into? I pretty much covered that one. And, there are recipes, and in fact, I'm going to tell you a few of those recipes. What we also came up with is ways to make foods less fat. Oh, before I start that, ways to make foods less fat. But before I do that, there's another thing you should know about. In the grocery shopping chapter of the book, it lists brand names in each food category that I consider the least fattening yet taste the best in that particular food category. For example, for the popcorn, the Orville Redenbacher popcorn I mentioned before is listed as the brand name that I believe is the least fattening that tastes the best in the area of popcorn. Well, I've done that in every single food category in the grocery store, so that when you go to the grocery store, you don't have to read any labels. All you do is buy the foods that I've listed in the book, buy the brand name that I've listed in the book, and then bring it home and eat it. Eat the foods and the recipes, eat the foods by themselves, whatever you like to do, and that's it. Now, getting back to, my wife is correct. The recipes are extremely simple and delicious because my wife and my mom, and they're responsible for these recipes along with other family members and friends. But over a period of 15 years, we came up with all these recipes, and our criteria was that they had to be simple, number one, because we don't want people to have to come home from work and have to take all this time to prepare meals. Number two, they had to be delicious. If they didn't taste good, if one member of the family didn't like it, it didn't go in the book. So every single one of these recipes passed the test of all family members loving the recipe, loving the taste of the food. Now, let's get to the part of making meals that are less fattening but still taste great. One of the things that we did was we came up with, let's talk about, for example, Let's Do Lunch burgers. What are they made with? They're made with ground sirloin, extra lean ground sirloin, ground white meat turkey, pinto beans that have been drained and mashed. And then you take those ingredients and mix them together and then add onions and garlic and seasoning, and then you make those into hamburger patties. And then you fry those in olive oil. Now, what did I say about fruit and vegetable oils and fish oils being non-fattening? So we use a lot of olive oil in our recipes and for frying and that kind of thing. And, pardon? Well, yes, you can, of course, grill them. But I like them fried in olive oil. It tastes better. In any case, you take those burgers, make those patties, take those ingredients, make them into hamburger patties, and then fry those in the olive oil. Now what you've got is an absolutely delicious, and I want to say this, that the pinto beans, because of the texture and the starchiness of them, when you put that Let's Do Lunch burger in your mouth, it absolutely just falls apart. And the taste is absolutely incredible. And you can eat them with your favorite condiments, as many as you want, and lose weight. Now, for example, Let's Do Lunch bean soup. We start with either northern beans or navy beans, and we add a chicken bouillon cube, and then garlic and olive oil and seasonings, and then you cook that, and then you take a potato masher and then mash that all up, and it is the thickest, most delicious soup you have ever put in your body, and it is so filling. I eat it almost every day, still to this day, because it is so delicious. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Another thing is we have a de-lettuced and aged cheese salad, where we start with 3-bean or 4-bean salad as the base instead of lettuce, and then you add to that corn and peas. Now, what did I tell you before about eating beans and corn and peas and then eliminating the cravings for the fattening carbs, because those are carbs also, but they're non-fattening, and it eliminates the cravings for the fattening carbs? Now think about that. You've got this 3 or 4 bean salad, you've got the peas, you've got the corn, and like cut up tomatoes, and whatever else you would like on it. And then you add your favorite aged cheese. I discovered that aged cheese is less fattening than the other cheeses. As far as, I'm not talking about fat-free cheese now, I'm talking about regular cheese. Aged cheese, I believe, is not less fattening than other cheeses. And for example, I hate to admit this, but I will, while I was losing 230 pounds, and by the way, it took me 2 years to lose 230 pounds, and I've kept it off for 15 years, that I put on my salad every single day, almost every single day. Big package of blue cheese crumbles. I took that whole package and put it on my salad every day and ate it with my favorite dressing, and I lost weight. Now, I should say this too, that what happens is, Let's Do Lunch, because we've said to ourselves, okay, well, we've got to eliminate cravings and we've got to be able to eat until full. Well, what does this kind of salad do for you? Even if you add the lettuce, okay? Let's say you take the lettuce and take the 3-bean salad, add the corn and the peas and cut up tomatoes and other things. What does that do? Well, first of all, it gets you so that you eat salads. You see what I'm saying? You put those blue cheese crumbles or gorgonzola cheese crumbles or whatever you like on that salad, and now you eat that with your favorite dressing. What happens? That salad becomes delicious. Now you like that salad, you want to eat that salad, so what happens? It, first of all, eliminates your cheese cravings, and number 2, it gets you to eating salads, and you show me a person that eats a lot of salads, you'll show me a person that's thin. Now just think about that. So, I guess that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else right now. I'm going to leave it open and hold it open for questions. Anybody have any questions?
I just have one question. If you're a vegetarian.
That's not a problem. We have several vegetarians on the program, and we just tell them, hey, be a vegetarian. Just eat the way the book calls for and eliminate all the stuff that's not in your diet as far as being a vegetarian is concerned. And in fact, I tell people this too. If you never crave foods with sugar in them, if you never crave desserts or candy or snacks, sweet snacks, or if you never crave sugar foods of any kind, you don't have to eat a fruit. It's not important. But I don't know many people that are like that.
Really?
No, I don't know many people that are like that, because most foods do have a lot of sugar in them. You just don't realize it, but they do. Anybody else?
But you listed favorite cheeses in the book?
Yes, I listed the cheeses that we eat. You know, the fat-free cheeses, and all I said was aged cheese, and any kind of aged cheese is okay. So it really doesn't matter, whatever you like. Anybody else? Anything that's bothering anybody? Anything that you don't like about what I've said or doesn't sound good to you? Yes.
I got your late, you might have said this, but did you produce a program?
Yes. Yeah. To recap, what it involves is Let's Do Lunch is a diet that that, first of all, I was morbidly obese for 30 years and tried every diet known to mankind enough to work. But Let's Do Lunch allows you to eat until you're full at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also eliminates all your cravings. And there's a 14-day meal plan that if you like structure and regimentation, it tells you what you can eat, different things you can eat for breakfast and lunch and dinner and for snacking. Oh, snacking, that's another. And by the way, you eat until you're full at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or whenever you feel like it, and you snack whenever you feel like it. And you eat all the carbohydrates you want, including all the different beans and corn and popcorn and corn on the cob and peas and salads and so forth. And when you eat those carbs, it eliminates your cravings for the fattening carbs. And then you can have all the sweetest fruits. I don't care how many calories are involved. Cherries, grapes, frozen grapes, pineapple, watermelon, bananas, fruit smoothies, which are like a fruit milkshake. I don't care how many calories. It matters not. You eat all the fruits you want and you will lose weight. All fruits are non-fattening. And when you do that, it eliminates the cravings for the desserts, candy, and sweet snacks. In fact, I tell people after getting approval from your doctor, satiate yourself with fruits for the first couple of weeks on the program so that your body becomes addicted to the fruits. And that will happen. Because when I started this program, I didn't even like fruits. Now I'm addicted to them. Okay? And so when you do that, if your body becomes addicted, then you eliminate the cravings for the desserts, candy, and sweet snacks. And eventually you get to the point where I am today, which means I don't eat very many fruits anymore. I mean, I do when I have a sweet craving, but when I have a sweet craving, I don't desire chocolate or candy. But I'll tell you something. When I was fat, when I weighed 425 pounds, I had a 62-inch waist. If you put a family-sized chocolate bar within 2 blocks of me, it would be gone before the wrapper had a chance to settle on the table. Today, you could put a chocolate bar under my nose 24/7. And I want to tell you the truth, I would not ever be interested. Not ever be interested. And the same thing with all the other fattening foods that I used to crave. Go on. I don't care if the smells, nothing. They just don't mean a thing to me because by eating all the other foods that are allowed in the program, by eating until you're full, by eating all the food groups, which means you never get sick of the food you're eating, you just don't desire it. This is my wife, Anita. My mom at 85 years of age lost 51 pounds without exercise of any kind. And this lady wanted to lose 8 pounds, watched me lose the weight, didn't believe that she could eat this way and lose weight. In fact, she said to me, I can't eat that way. If I ate the way you eat, I would gain weight. I had to convince her to do it. She wanted to lose 8 pounds, she lost 1. Too good to be true. Yeah, that's a good point. When you read this book, the first thing you're gonna say to yourself is, this guy's got to be a Looney Tune, because there's no way. I mean, there's just no way that what he says in this book will work. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense from everything I've ever been told about calories in and calories out. Again, I say it's ingredients in and ingredients out. I didn't. God saved my life. I sat on the edge of my bed. I had a 5-foot waist, a 22-inch neck. I weighed 425, 435 pounds for 30 years. I had high blood pressure. I had acid reflux so bad that when I swallowed food, it killed me. And yet I was addicted to the food. I had sleep apnea so bad my dear wife thought I had died several times. In fact, when we travel, or when we moved, at one time in corporate management, we moved 11 times in 2 years. And every time we moved, she would try to find 6 or 8 families that we could be friends so that she would have enough men to serve as pallbearers. Yeah, and I ended up, and again, that's true, but I ended up sitting on the edge of my bed.
Desperate housewife.
That's it. I ended up sitting on the edge of my bed with tears rolling down my face. And I prayed. By the way, I retired at 41 years of age, okay? So I was very successful in life from the standpoint of making money, but you know what? None of that success meant one thing to me. I was out of control, I was miserable, I was desperate, sat on the edge of my bed, tears rolling down my face, nobody around. I shut the bedroom door and I just said, God, I don't want to be here. I want to die.
How did you start this particular program?
What happened is God started awakening me. Well, I didn't have a conversation with God, but I believe God awakened me in the middle of the nights with new ideas on how and what to eat in order to lose weight. The first idea that I received in the middle of the night was that there are carbohydrates that are non-fattening and you can eat until full and lose weight. Now, I was startled out of bed with that idea. Actually startled because I had been on the low carb diet, the Atkins diet, and I lost 100 pounds on Atkins and gained 150 back. And the only reason I did is not because it doesn't work, it's just because I craved foods that weren't on the diet so bad that I just couldn't stay on it. Now that was me. There are a lot of folks that can do it, and that's fine. And there are a lot of folks that can do South Beach, and that's wonderful. And there are a lot of people that can do Weight Watchers, and that's terrific, but I couldn't do it. And so I started awakening with these ideas, and I started experimenting in over a 15-year period of experimenting with my own body and eating different foods and eating times and eating patterns and so forth. I came up with great. Oh, the first thing that happened that happened without my even having an awakening was our son put some grapes in the freezer in October of 1988. I remember it like it was yesterday. I went to the freezer and I was going to get in there and get something to eat because I ate from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight every day, and every time I got the least bit, not full, I would be back in the kitchen, putting something else in my body. And so I went in there and I looked in the freezer and there were these grapes on the vine, and so I felt one of them. It was ruined. It was frozen solid. And so I went to my wife and I said, "Honey, you forgot to take the grapes out of the freezer." And she said, "I didn't put the grapes in the freezer." Well, my first thought process is, gotta be our son, because he gets blamed for everything whether he's around or not, right? So I called him at his place of business and I said, "Son, I'm going to talk to you about the grapes." He said, "Dad, eat the frozen grapes. They're wonderful." I said, "Come on, you're not getting out of that by saying that. I know they're right." He said, "Dad, they're frozen grapes. They're wonderful for snacks. They have the texture of a popsicle, and the freezing enhances the sweetness." So I put one in my mouth and I bit into it, and he was exactly right. I mean, it was like the texture of a popsicle. The sweetness was wonderful. So I sat in front of the TV, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm eating pounds of these frozen grapes. Pounds! And there's 100 calories in 10 to 12 grapes. Pounds! Now I started then doing that every day. I put more grapes in the freezer. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I wasn't trying to diet. I'm eating my pizzas and my hamburgers and my hot dogs and my French fries and everything all day long, whatever I want, just like I did before. And at night, I look forward to having the frozen grapes. I love them. After 3 weeks of doing that, now mind you, I'm still eating in the same fattening way as I did before. And again, understand that there's 10 to 12 grapes have 100 calories in them. And after 3 weeks, my clothes were loose. I lost weight. Now, it went on from there to those awakenings that I told you about. All of this happened, by the way, after I prayed to God for the time. So it's so great to be able to be alive, to know that God saved my life, to be able to pass this on. Again, I'm not taking any profit on the sale of the book. This is all going back to help other people. I'm just taking God's blessings that He gave me and passing it on to other people so God can bless them in the same way He blessed me. Again, if you go to letsdolunch.com and click on bulletin boards at the left-hand column, you can go in there. There's several hundred people on that website. We're all in support of one another. There's a testimonials board. There's a general discussion board. There's a new recipes board. There's a question and answer board. There's a tips board. And when you go in there and you read the testimonials of people, they say things like, "Well, when I read this book, I didn't believe it. But I thought, well, because it's too good to be true, but I'll try it." And it worked. And then I've had people say, "Well, we didn't buy into the concept that you can eat until you're full. We just didn't buy into that because of all the great foods that are on there and all the wonderful recipes. We just didn't buy into that. And you can eat all the condiments, and you can have the mayonnaise, you can have your tartar sauce, you can have your ketchup and mustard and relish and onions. You can do all this stuff and still lose weight." Didn't buy into it. Can't do it. So what they did is they did it on their own basis of what they, you know, the knowledge that they had incorporating some of the things, and they would lose weight, and then all of a sudden I'd get another testimonial, and it would say, well, you know, we decided because that worked, we might as well, you know, might as well do the whole thing. And then we did the whole thing, it still worked. So that's what I get all the time. I, again, have not had one human being. The book came out 1st of September, first printing sold out. Second printing came out, sold out. We're into the third printing in a month and a half. I have not had, and the book talks all about the website. In fact, on the back of the book, of the dust jacket, it says, if you want to read about and talk with other Let's Do Lunch dieters, go to letsdolunch.com and click on bulletin boards. Once you do, you'll want to get started on this program, by the way. And I want to... That's good. But in any case, the point being is that, and if you read the reviews on Amazon.com, unbelievable. Unbelievable what people are saying about this. Again, I've not had one person say to me, Roger, you're full blown. Roger, I tried this, it doesn't work. Roger, I read the book and I don't like it. I've not had one comment. Every comment that I've had from every single human being that's bought this book so far, to my knowledge, is I love this book. When I read it, I couldn't put it down. The other thing we did with the publishing house wanted to come up with a thicker book. They wanted to do this, only 179 pages. That's a very small book. And I said to them, look, you know, I was morbidly obese for 30 years. I'm not interested in picking up a diet book that's 3 inches thick. When I see a diet book that's 3 inches thick, I won't even pick it up. Because to me, what's going to happen is I'm going to get all involved in all kinds of technicalities and portion control, measuring, weighing. Again, there's no counting of carbs. There's no counting calories, no counting fat grams, no converting fat grams to calories, no portioning, no measuring, no weighing, no pills, no chemicals, no meetings, nothing. You just eat the food and lose the weight. So anyway, I got my way with the publisher on the size of the book. And, but the book is chock full. I mean, it's all, as we used to say, meat and potatoes, okay? It's all meat and potatoes. So when you read it, you will not get everything the first time through. You won't do it. It won't happen. But you'll have to read it. Now, I've read this new book myself, and I wrote it. I've read it 6 times. Okay? Now, I will say this to you. You need to read this. You'll be able to start it the first time. No problem, because it's not any technical problem. It's just that you won't pick up everything that the book says. Because I've had people come back and say, well, you know what? You know, I just can't eat all that fruit. Well, if you go to page 36 of the book, you know, it says right in here, you know, after you become addicted to the fruits, you don't have to eat fruit. You just eat a little fruit. Or eat no fruit. If you don't ever crave anything with sugar in it or sweets or anything, don't worry about it. You know, you don't have to eat fruit. You don't have to eat beans if you don't want beans. You don't have to eat peas if you don't want peas. You don't have to eat anything that you don't want to eat. What I say is if you don't like every single thing on a diet, and I mean this sincerely, whatever you're going to do it to your own taste and your own likes, because if you don't do it that way, you won't stay there. So read the book, and anything that you don't like, which I don't think there will be anything, but if there is, just eliminate it. You know, and go with the rest of the program. It'll be fine. Any other questions?
Do you have to be female today or can you?
No, that's a very good point. I've had lots of people say that to me. Roger, you know, I can't eat all this food. I mean, hello? Excuse me, I mean, hello? I mean, I get that all the time, and it blows my mind. What a great testimonial, you know? And what I tell people is, look, if you're not hungry at mealtime, don't worry about it. Don't eat. You don't like anything to eat, don't eat. Oh yes, and I'll preface my statement by saying to you that, again, before you start any diet, you should see your doctor for approval. That's it. If you go to the website, you click on the bulletin boards, and you go in there and talk with people, I mean, I cry. I sit and cry. Because not only was, you got to remember that I was morbidly obese for 30 years, and I had I had acid reflux so bad. I mean, I tell you the truth, folks, I could not eat food, and yet I was addicted to it. I could not eat it because it hurt me. It hurt so bad. And yet I had to have it. And I had sleep apnea so bad, my wife had I had high blood pressure, I had all these physical problems. I was totally cured of all those things. I used to have bones ache and pain, and I even ripped the muscle that connects the ball of the foot to the heel of the foot. And I don't know how many people have that have, but I ripped that muscle, okay, ripped it, and had to recover from that. To answer your question, we have many diabetics that are now totally off of their medication. And they praise God. I tell people, don't you ever thank me. When you lose the way, you want to thank somebody, you thank God Almighty and Jesus Christ. Because God saved my life. I'm passing it on now, so God can bless you in the same way. When you lose the way, you only have one person to thank, God Almighty. Don't you ever thank me. I don't want to thank. I don't want to thank you because I get the same thank you every day that I'm 10 now, that you will, or your loved ones will, when they lose the weight, and help like this. I've had 2 people that said their blood sugars rose after being on the program. 2. I've had numerous people that said their blood sugars went down, they've gotten off their medications, their blood pressure, they're off their blood pressure medications. I have people with cholesterol. This is such a healthy diet, but it's healthy foods we all love, in all the food groups. But one fellow was on an anti-statin drug, and his cholesterol was 500. Now, when your cholesterol is at 500, you're in trouble. And when he would take the anti-statin drug, he could stay on it for a while, and it would go down to about 400, a little below 400. And then as soon as he got off of it, it went back up to 500. He went on Let's Do Lunch. His cholesterol went to 268. For cause and effect, he went off the diet with his doctor, and it went back up to 500, went back on the diet, and it went down to 260. He's been on that ever since. We got a testimonial from him saying, this not only helped him, I didn't want to lose weight, he said, I lost 12 pounds, but he said, this saved my life. I thank God for this, and I love it, because see, I don't have to respond. I don't want to respond to somebody that says, Roger, thank you for doing this. No, God, thank you for letting me be a part of passing the blessing you gave to me on to other people so you can bless me. Yes. Oh, yes, that's another point. I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a scientist. I am an ordinary guy. But I believe myself to be the only formerly obese person in the world to have written a diet book and kept the weight off for 15 years. Now that said, we have nutritionists and doctors who have endorsed the book. And in the book, there was a testimonial at the beginning of the book from a nutritionist, a gal here locally that's an adjunct professor of nutritionist at Edison College. And what she says about this, I'm even embarrassed to say, except to tell you it's a rave endorsement. We have doctors who have even gotten on the internet and given their actual name on the internet and said, I tell you, I've been a doctor all my life, and I've given out diets to people, and I wanted to lose weight myself and couldn't do it. I lost the weight with this program. I kept it off, and I just less contraindicated. Thank you. Less contraindicated. I highly recommend. Oh, see, that's a word I never use. Anyway,
Neither do I.
I highly recommend this program, and so it's really neat to be a part of something that's so healthy and so nutritious, and yet you lose the weight, and when you lose the weight, the health benefits are amazing. And so with that, I can see somebody looking at their watch, which means I've been up here long enough. So unless there's any more questions. Oh, that's another thing. We've had testimonials. My wife is we've had testimonials from folks who have said, you know what, like ladies have gone on the program and they've fixed the recipes for their whole family, and all of a sudden the husbands are coming to their wives and saying, geez, honey, my pants are loose, what's going on? I'm serious. I mean, I've had lots of these, where women went on the program, lost weight, and their husbands, because of eating the recipes that she cooks, the recipes are so good, are so good. The husband said no, didn't know, they had no idea that they were on a diet. And they lost weight and didn't even know they were losing it. You follow what I'm saying? And in addition to that, we have little children now who are eating the fresh fruits and vegetables and things like that, along with the proteins, along with the carbs that I said are non-fatty, the beans and the corn and the popcorn and the corn and the cob and the peas and the salads, and eating the H cheese on the salads, and eating with their favorite dressing, and eating the condiments and the mayonnaise, which has soybean oil in it.
All right, you guys take care of me safe.
One meal, everyone.
Yeah, you can fix one meal and everybody in the family will love it because it's so delicious that you don't want anything else and you don't want anything different. So what happens is that even little kids that are normally very heavy are losing weight. And isn't that cool? And I say in the book, you know, when you get done with this, or when you get it to where you've got it down pat, take this book to your local school board and give it to a school board member and let him read it or her read it. And let's come up with school Let's Do Lunch programs instead of school lunch programs. And again, to recap for those of you who came in late, everybody needs to get going. So Let's Do Lunch is a diet, unlike other diets, because you eat until you're full, therefore you're never hungry. And number two, it eliminates all your cravings. And those are the two reasons diets don't work. You either end up being hungry all the time, or you end up craving foods that are not on the diet. And what I mean by that is, as an example, I discovered that there are carbohydrates that are totally non-fattening and can be eaten until full and lose weight. And those are all the different beans, corn on the cob, popcorn, Orville Redenbacher Smart Pop, 94% fat-free. Butter popcorn, I believe, is totally non-fattening. I explain why in the book. Peas are non-fattening. It doesn't have any butter in it. That's why. It's got soybean oil, which tastes like butter. Anyway, peas are non-fattening, salads are non-fattening. You can have your salads with your favorite salad dressing. You can have your salads with the aged cheese on top. You can have all the condiments you want. And I also discovered that there are fats that are totally non-fattening, like all of the fish oils, all of the vegetable oils, and all the fruit oils. So therefore, soybean oil is non-fattening, olive oil is non-fattening, oils in salmon and trout and so forth are non-fattening. And they're good for you and they're healthy for you. And when you eat those carbohydrates that I just mentioned, it eliminates the cravings for the fattening carbohydrates. And then fruits are carbohydrates also. You can have all the sweet fruits you want and lose weight. It doesn't matter how many calories are involved. You can have all the cherries, grapes, frozen grapes, pineapple, watermelon, bananas, fruit smoothies, which are like a fruit milkshake. You lose weight no matter how many calories are involved, no matter how many you put in your body. And when you do that, it eliminates the cravings for the desserts, the candy, and the sweet snacks. And the program includes all of the protein. So you can have steaks, Let's Do Lunch burgers, chicken, turkey, fish. You can eat as much as you want, and you will lose weight. So it's a wonderful program. It's been a pleasure being here. I love everybody in the world. I love the Lord mostly. And thank God for being able to pass this on. It's a blessing to me to be able to do that. And again, I'm not taking any profit on the book. It's going back to the Any other questions?
One question.
Yes. Go ahead.
I occasionally work a little part-time, but I can't really have much. I work from 12 to 7.
Sure. Good
So,
point.
no, what should I do in between that time? I have a full breakfast. What do you do for that lunch break?
Okay, there are lots of foods that you can take with you to work. And what I would suggest is that there are snacks like popcorn and soybeans, and you can take all the fruits that you want and eat those. You could take something with you from the standpoint of recipes that are in the book that are easy to prepare the night before, you know, when you're fixing dinner or before you go to bed, so that you can just take that with you and take it with you to work. The other thing I tell people is, you know, sometimes people need to put like a microwave in their place of business, or a little refrigerator, or a two-sided, what's the guy's name that did the grills? Foreman grills and that kind of thing. So if you take a two-sided grill, a microwave, and a little refrigerator, or just a styrofoam thing with them packed with ice and put your foods in there, you can have all the different foods that you want at lunchtime. And here's the other thing. If you can't have your extra protein at lunchtime, what I tell you on lunch, you should have extra protein at lunchtime so that it carries you over until dinner without craving those afternoon fattening snacks. Because a lot of us just, you know, give in to that after you fat and snack, because we try to eat as a society light all day so we can pick out at night and go to bed with all that stuff in our stomach to turn to fat. So I tell people to eat extra protein at lunch, and I'm not talking about, you know, 3.5 ounces or something. I'm talking about 4 fish fillets if you want. If you want a pound of extra lean sirloin, fine, have at it. But, you know, whether it's steaks, let's do lunch burgers, chicken, turkey, fish, extra protein at lunch, so it carries you over until dinner without craving those afternoon fattening snacks. So, that said, if you can't eat your protein at lunch, or you don't have lunch that day or whatever, you have a job that doesn't even allow you to do that. You can still have your heavy protein at night. You won't lose it as fast, but you will lose it. And we've got lots of people that are doing that. And they're on the website, so you can talk with them and anything else? Does that sound good? Anybody else? Thank you, and God bless all of you, and help me out there to sign anybody's book, and enjoy doing it. And thank you, kid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a man, I thought this was Brian, I didn't want to say anything, but this young man joined our group 2.5 weeks ago, and how many pounds did he lose? He lost 25 pounds in 2.5 weeks on Let's Do Lunch, this man right here, and he told me on the internet, he emailed me and said, Roger, I'm coming to the book signing, and he said, and I was, you know, he didn't tell me that he lost weight or anything else, he just said, I'm coming to the book signing. So I'm sitting here, when he sat down, I thought, I said to myself, I wonder if that's him. I wonder, you know, if I hope he's lost weight. I knew he had. Anyway, isn't that cool? That is great.
Did you hear him at the beginning? Yeah. I didn't say anything appropriate for us. So. Yes. Well, I think you got many more. I don't do that. It's just, I think my hair is ice cream. Hi. Don't you be walking out of here without playing. No, I haven't. Do you? I started interesting. Well, I was hoping it would be interesting because I don't know much time. It's crazy, this now.
You're laughing.
Well, for me, it's a kind of because my brain was just like, and I knew my mom was sneaking. I didn't want to catch up because I didn't chores and I was up here.
I was so large, that I outgrew it. I didn't even have to.
Fire.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
I'm sure it said that. Rick Warren? Yes, yes, he was there, and I just know about it. It's almost
I just wish it would block the Atlantic Ocean.
I think it, I'll recognize the author.
Rick Warren. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
We have that book at home.
Oh, I like that.
What?
Why am I funny? I know, I tried to not to be quiet. She was the clapping. Oh, you were going. Oh, you were going.
Yeah, I never went to do that one often.
Y'all been great help. Great help. Great.
Yeah, I know it is. Well, mine's frozen. My son just threw them in there on the vine, inside. They were just on the vine. And he'd bring him to bed with him. And eat him in bed. We had TV in there. So he'd eat him in bed, pop him in. And we had one. He didn't do anything else but eat I think the red ones are a little better than the green ones.
Let me see what they can do with it.
I'm so proud of what everybody's able to do on this program. This lady's name is Carol. You've been on the program how long? Here in this bookstore? Oh, a couple of weeks ago. She's been on the program since the article was run in the Naples Daily News. She's lost 8 pounds in the last couple of weeks. So, you know, God bless.
Yeah, yeah. All right.